Hello and welcome back to another tutorial. In this series we are going to be making a Actionbar system. Now it will take a bit of time because we do need a inventory system as well for the Actionbar system to work, but we will get there in the end. And what we're going to be making is, as I said, an Actionbar system, which we can see on the screen now. And if I press B, that's going to bring up our player inventory. This is movable, so you can move it however you want it to be. And if I go out and come back in, it's going to be saved with the position, of course. If I now press escape, that is going to bring up the Actionbar settings. Now you can see that you have a couple different settings here. If I unlock it, I can move the action bars around however I want it to be. I can confirm it, and of course this is all saved once I confirm it. I can also change the settings for the slots, of course, the padding, the horizontal. I can go to the other slots, change the exact same settings. It's up there, it's kind of weird to see. And I can enable or disable them how I feel. I can change the name, so let's go AB3, let's change that to Choo Choo, of course, why not? That has also changed it for the profile inside here. I can also remove the name. Don't know why you would even have the name, to be fair. And that is it for that. If you go to keybinds, you can change the keybinds, of course. So I can, well, as it says here, hover over a button and press a key to set its binding. To clear a button's current key binding, press escape. So I can go up here and I can press, for example, T. Now, if I press 1 and hold up here, that is going to remove the one that we currently have on our AB1. So let's go in here and click 1. That has moved it up there. If I do the same here, 2, 3, 4 and 5, that has moved everything. When I go up here and press 1, that's going to move it from there. Of course, it's going to work wherever you click. So you can press escape to remove it, as I said. So you can just go over here and remove the key bindings, press OK, and this is now saved. Let us test with an item. So it wouldn't be fun with key bindings if you couldn't actually keybind any items. I'm going to move it up here, and then I'm also going to shift click it to bring up this split stack widget. It's in a weird place. It's in the top left, but doesn't matter for me, so I just left it there. I can now split it. I'm going to go 2, and that has it here. Now if I place it down here, we can go to our keybinds. I can now keybind this to 1, and I'm going to keybind this to, I don't know, like Y or something, because why not? Haha. Fuck, that was stupid. Now I can press 1, and that's going to use the item at 1. I can press Y, and that's going to use the item at Y. Okay, that's basically what we're going to be making in this entire series. Hope you enjoy. If you haven't subscribed, do that. If you like the videos, please like them. If you hate them, please tell me what I'm doing wrong. So without further ado, let us just get started with this series. Okay, let us just get started. Now I'm in a very basic third-person template here. Haven't done anything yet. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call this AB for action bars. And I'm going to set the color of that. That is our project folder. Inside of here, I'm going to set up a base folder with some base classes. The first class is a player controller, so PC_base. The second one is a game mode, GM_base. Third is going to be a HUD, just going to be a HUD base. And the final one is going to be a game instance, which you have to search for here. And I'm going to call it my game instance. Before we go any further, we have to apply these to our project. So go to your project settings, maps and modes, select your GM base. I'm going to do third person character here for the default pawn. I'm going to change my HUD, and I'm going to change my play controller and my game instance at the bottom here. On the right side, in the world settings, if you don't have world settings, you got to go to window and select world settings. I already have it, so I'm going to select my GM base here, and that has already populated it with the correct info from the project settings. The Actionbar system requires an inventory system as well. So let us, that is what we're going to be doing today, setting up the basics for the inventory system. So let us just get started with that. Inside of here, I'm going to make a new folder. It's going to be called interface, and I'm just going to make a HUD here. So WBP HUD. I can go back to base now and into your HUD base and get that ducked up there. Go into your event graph. And on begin play, you can now create widget. The widget that you want to create is the HUD that we just made, and you want to add it to the viewport. Now you're done with your HUD base. After this, you want to make a new folder. This one is going to be called systems. Inside of systems, we're going to have a inventory system. And inside of inventory system, first we're going to make a new blueprint class, which is going to be called a actor. First of all, that's going to be called BP master item. Now, master item requires a item info structure, so let's make a new folder and call it structs and enums. We're gonna make the right click and click blueprint and then structure. This one is gonna be st_item info. Open that up and dock it up top. Change the first variable to a text and let's call it name. Next one, description, also a text. Then we're gonna have the icon, which is a texture 2D. Then we're gonna have a boolean, which is stackable. And a max stack size, which is an integer. And finally a mesh, which is a static mesh. That's our item info. Now you can place that inside of your master item by adding it to the variables here. I'm going to call it item info of type st_item info. Another thing we want for an inventory system is a way to track the contents. We're going to do that with an array. The array is going to be a structure st_inventory contents. First entry is going to be a master item class reference named item. Second one is going to be quantity and it's going to be an integer. Then we are going back into our inventory system. First of all, I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it interface. And inside of interface, I'm going to make a new widget. It's going to be called WBP inventory slot. Now, inventory slot will be the side on screen, and we're going to add a canvas to it, which basically just means that we're able to layer it more easily. It's going to have an image. It's going to be size to content. I'm going to expand the brush and select the image size, and I'm going to set it to 64 by 64 for now. I'm going to rename it to slot image, and I'm just going to leave it as is with the variables. Well, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to expand my content drawer, and inside my inventory system, I'm going to make another folder. I'm going to call it image files. Inside here, I'm just going to import a texture. Now, this texture that I've imported is, I'm going to prefix it first by t_, but it's really just a border, and you can probably make this in Paint or something in less than 10 seconds, so I'm not going to probably include it. Oh, sorry, that went automatically. I also changed the texture group to UI from world. Now, let us add another image. And this one is going to be renamed to item icon. Now, if you want to be able to change name like I just did there, you can click F2 while you have it selected, and that's going to go into rename mode. This is my item icon. I'm going to size that to content. I'm going to change the size to 58 by 58. And then I'm going to anchor it to the middle by holding down Shift and Control at the same time. This item icon is going to be hidden. And everything else should be fine. Now let's add a text to our canvas. Oh, also, the slot image, I have to remember to change it to inventory slot. Now the text is going to be variable. It's going to be called item quantity. I'm going to do x245, just so I have a little bit there. I'm going to change the size to 14, typeface to regular. I'm going to dock it to the bottom right, and I'm going to outline it. I'm going to hold down Control and click D to duplicate. And this is going to be my hotkey text. And also, before I forget, on your item quantity text, change the visibility to be hidden. And same with the hotkey, change it to be hidden. Now on your hotkey text, dock it to the top left. I'm going to do a random letter that I have here. And that is it for our inventory slot. After this, we want to go into our inventory system and create a new blueprint class. This is going to be an active component. I'm going to call it AC_inventory component. Let us finish the item slot before we continue that. We did need that for the inventory slot. That's why we made it now. In the variables list, click new, add a inventory ref, which is going to be of type AC inventory component. It's going to be editable and exposed. Then we're going to hold down D and duplicate that so we don't have to expose it again. And we're going to do index. and duplicate once more, and it's going to be HUD-ref. It's going to be type WBP HUD. And then we can duplicate again, and we can call it hotkey, and that's going to be of type key. And that is it for now. Now we can go into our inventory component, and inside here we're going to make some variables. The first one is going to be max slots. It's going to be an integer. The next one we're going to make is also an integer, so duplicate that. Max horizontal slots. And the third one is the inventory contents, which is of type WBP st underscore inventory contents, and that's going to be an array. The next one is slot references, so slot refs. That's going to be WBP inventory slot, also an array. After this, we're going to do hotkeys, which is going to be of type key, also an array. And the last three are not going to be arrays, and actually we're only going to add 2 of them here. So this first one is going to be ID. It's an integer, and it's a singular. And then we're going to add inventory name, which is going to be a text. Now we're going to go into our begin play, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cast to my game instance, get game instance as the object, and we're going to promote this to game instance ref. Later on, we are going to add a load inventory here. I'm not going to do it yet, so I'm leaving just space for it. And then we're going to resize our content to be that of the max slots. Once you have that completed, we can continue on. I want to go into my third person character. You would use your own character for this. And on the components list, I'm going to add my AC inventory component. I'm going to call it my player inventory. We can actually leave the AC in there. I'm going to do max slots of 25, max horizontal of 5, and this ID is going to be 1. I'm going to call it my player inventory. I'm also going to add a HUD-ref to my third person character, type WBP HUD. And now let us go into interface. Right click, create a new one. This one is going to be our WBP inventory. Our WBP inventory is quite simple. We're going to have a vertical box. Inside of this vertical box, we're going to have a border. Another border inside of that one. So it's going to be padding in 2 in all. Brush color of the first one is going to be grayish. And we can actually have the content a little gray as well. And we can now pad this to 2 in all as well. And now we're going to add a text into this border. This text is going to be the inventory name text. And I'm just going to leave it as text block because we do want to change it with our name variable. So I'm going to leave it as this. Change it to regular and 18 maybe. Should I have done that? No, definitely not. Now I want to duplicate this border, and I want to remove that text block, and I want to add a uniform grid panel. This one is variable, and it's going to be my inventory grid panel. I'm going to pad that to 1 in all, and I'm going to move it to the middle, and it's going to be docked up top there. Inventory name is okay. And this one should be in the middle as well. Now we can go into the graph for a second. We're going to go into functions and create a generate inventory. The first one is going to be an input. So add an input here. It's going to be of type AC inventory component. And we're going to call it inventory ref. We're going to promote that to a variable. Now we can add our HUD ref. And that's going to be of WBP HUD. And that is it for the variables so far. Now we can get our inventory ref and also get our grid panel first actually. So clear the children off the grid panel. Then get your ref and then get your slot refs. And now clear that as well. Once this is cleared, we can get our contents and do a for each loop out of the contents. On each of the loops passed, we want to create widget. And the widget that we want to create is the inventory slot. The index is the index. The inventory ref is our inventory ref. The HUD ref is our HUD ref. And the hotkey is going to come from, for now, it's going to come from the hotkeys array that we have. And that's going to be an array index 0. So you get your hotkeys array, get a copy at the array index that we're currently at, and that is your hotkey. And we're going to add our newly created widget into the list of arrays, references. And then we're going to get a copy at that array that we just added, in order to get our inventory grid panel, add child to uniform grid. Take the array index on the for each loop, divide that by your max horizontals, which comes from your inventory ref, and that is going to give you a row. And then if you do a division whole and remainder, the dividend being the array index, like so, and the max horizontal is the divisor, that is going to give you your column. Let us add this to our HUD. First add a canvas to the HUD, and then let's add the inventory to the HUD. And now we can go into the graph, and on the construct, we're going to, well, right click somewhere and then set up casts, first of all. And on construct, we're going to do setup casts, call that event that we just made. The first thing that we're going to do is cast to PC base. And we're going to get player controller out of that, because that's our player controller base, and we can promote that to PC base ref. Then we can cast to third person character, and we can get player character and promote that to player ref. And finally, let us cast to my game instance, get game instance as the object, and promote that to game instance ref. Underneath, we're going to add a new custom event. It's going to be called HUDrefs. And at the end of our casts, we're going to call our HUDrefs. First, we're going to get our player ref and set the HUDref. The HUDref is ourself, because we are in the HUD. And the inventory wants a HUDref as well. Now, I'm going to right click and do another custom event. This is going to be called generate action bars. Now, we're not going to do action bars quite yet. We're going to do inventories, but it's going to use the same code. Well, this is going to be used for action bars later. So get your WBP inventory, call your generate inventory that we made previously. And the inventory you want to generate is coming from your player, so get AC player inventory. And remember to call generate action bars at your HUDrefs. See if this works. Nope, did not work. So let us see why that is. Are we even getting to this point? Let us print out this. We are getting to that point, okay. Is the length of the contents too small? Yes, the length of the contents. So this has not been resized yet. And in order to fix that, we can just add a delay. And we're going to add the delay to be 0.0001. Actually, let's do 0.01. And there we go. That's our inventory. Now let us also just set the text, and then let's call that a night. So at the generate inventory function, after completed, you're going to set text of your inventory name text. What do you want to set it to? Well, you want to get the name from your inventory and then plug it in. and now you have your player inventory. In the next episode, we're probably going to set up the drag and drop, and yeah, I hope you enjoy, and we will get to action bars in no time. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.